So it's like a quesadilla. So it's literally like a pizza that's made like a pizza and then folded in half.
I'm upset.
I'm pretty sure. Pretty sure.
My buddy, my friend, just need to know our friendship won't end. My buddy, my buddy, my buddy, my buddy.
Hello and welcome to Girls Who Came to Sugar Bakers, where nerds and platonic life partners Aaron and Leslie watch episodes of Designing Women, then recap, review, and share other fun things related to the show. I'm Leslie.
And I am Aaron.
What's up?
So I said it a little different that time. Hey, you know what?
I like it.
We are like
What?
almost at our 4-year anniversary?
Yeah,
Or something?
it's May.
I just
We
realized
might be
that
right
'cause
at it.
what made me think about it is that I was like, oh, it's only been 4 years, and I just now said that a little bit different. I am Aaron. Very enunciating. Leslie, how are you doing today?
I'm doing pretty good, thanks. How are you doing?
I'm doing all right.
It's Mother's
It's like,
Day
whatever.
in quarantine.
It's Mother's Day in quarantine. Have you talked to your
I
mom?
gotta call my mom. Not
Oh,
yet.
I'm surprised.
They don't do days well.
Oh,
Like,
that's
they,
right.
You know, they're night people, so I'll call them.
They stay up late.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's right. That's a good daughter of you to wait. Yeah.
Sorry, I was drinking tea. Thanks. That was a weird sound.
Jeez, what kind of tea did you make?
Chai.
Oh, good. Oh, is it the North Carolina chai?
No, it's the Oregon chai.
Oh, yeah.
I've
the
been
usual.
making that during the workday. The
Oh, to be
Tenerife
fancy.
teas.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Maybe we'll give them a little shout out. Tenerife
Yeah.
Teas chai.
It smells
Because you said it smells really good.
so good. I mean, it tastes really good too, but also I could just like sniff it.
You should just have a little jar of it.
Yeah, just carry around a
Somewhere.
little sachet.
Just carry around. That'd be a good one for a bath.
Yeah.
I mean, if you wanted to smell like chai. But that was one thing I did recently was I have tea that my friend gave me. And actually some like biodegradable like sachets too. You could just use, I guess, a strainer or just make a mess and put tea straight in there. But that was the thing is I had these little sachets. Could you imagine just tea up in there? Come on.
Just
that's a
put tea in
mess.
there. Let it go down the
I mean,
drain.
you
It'll be fine.
can. I mean, it's degradable, but it's like, don't do it. It's I feel like if you have any hair, it's just gonna be a whole thing.
Gross.
Gross. Yeah, that chai would be nice. I used to actually make. I can make this a segue. I used to kind of make like tea soaps when I was younger.
Ooh.
It would be literally, and it was like kind of based on the idea of the comfort of a cup of tea. So there was like one, but here's the problem: tea tends to dye things.
Yeah.
So that's why it didn't work. I just made it for me, but I got like glycerin soap base, and I literally put like powdered milk and like Earl Grey into soap base, and then like sugar once it was not hot, so that it was still like scrubby, and so it was like having like a cup of tea. But then it would like stain my bathtub when it was sitting on the bathtub, and so I was like, I'm not selling this. But but it smelled good, so it was like the milk was good for your skin, and then like scrubbing and all that kind of stuff. So I did that once. If someone can make it better, make it. Send me some. I will love it. But speaking of making things, is I was kind of going to segue this. I love
This week on Making It.
Oh my God.
No one sue us, please.
Friggin' please. God, I would love to be on that show. I don't want to make anything on that show. I just want to hang out with
I just want to hang out.
So you've been making things, and you have God, we don't have a name for this segment, but Leslie's been sharing with me stories of making masks during a pandemic.
It's fun.
And I'm very mouthy with my this today. I don't know. I'm just really sassy. Mother's Day. And basically you get to see the best and the worst of people.
You really do. Yeah.
Which is what's happening everywhere. But
True.
I mean, like, it's happening. Like, I'm just like, I hate people, and they'll be like, oh, but then look at what they did. It's so nice. Like, it's so crazy.
In the same breath.
I'm like, by polar all over the place with people. Can't deal with it. So Leslie, you have like a list of some of the interactions or moments, I guess, you wanted to share.
Yeah, so I guess the first one I'll talk about is on Reddit. I posted like, hey, if anybody's local, still looking for these. I know people had posted before. I'm doing this thing. These are the organizations that the purchases are benefiting. I've also been donating some masks, blah, blah, blah. And one lady commented and was super helpful because there is an organization giving masks to like the homeless population and other vulnerable communities in our community, and they just have a drop-off bin. So she hooked me up with them, and that's really cool. It's over on Atlantic, and I was like, oh, cool, that's not far. So that was helpful, but then another woman commented and said, because I was selling them at the time for $7, and this other woman commented, and she was like, or you can just get them from the organization that I'm volunteering for and giving them away for free. And I just upvoted it, because all you can do with people like that is just say thank you and then move on with your day. Like, just hit upvote and like moved on.
Just hit upvote.
Thanks so much, Karen. I know that you are better than literally everyone on the planet, and none of us, like, no one is gonna save the world without white women. So thank you for making your sacrifice and doing your part for the rest of us who are doing nothing. Thank you so much.
Oh dear.
I'm also in a bunch of groups where people
I'm just going to let you fury out for this. I'm just going to sit back and Crystal, and you can just fury out.
Yes, I did just finish the new... Sorry, there's someone with a very loud muffler driving in for me.
Oh, nice.
So I just finished that episode like 2 hours ago. So fresh off the fury.
Oh, dear.
I'm also in a few groups where people are buying and selling. And this is not like... I mean, this is the worst and the best. But, like, it's just funny. Because people are so specific in, like, what they want. Here are a few of the things that I have seen people asking for.
Okay.
Iron Maiden masks. You know, like the band?
The band?
I guess.
Wow.
The other things that they had mentioned that they wanted led me to believe that it was the band that they wanted the fabric of.
Okay. Wow.
Somebody just said, do y'all have any church masks? To which somebody else was like, what's a church mask?
It's a church mask.
And then somebody else commented, and they're like, do you just want Jesus on it? Yeah. And then somebody else was like, I have cross fabric. And it just, like, sparked. But the worst part of this was that, like, 3 hours before, I had been in a different group where somebody was like, oh, just finish this for clergy. And it was literally a black mask with a white square on it. Oh, and I could have linked them. Like, I could have hooked those people up. But I have no idea where I'd seen that post 3 hours before.
Yeah.
There are a bunch of people asking for like face masks that turn their mouth into, like a cat's mouth or something like that. And inevitably there are immediately 20 people posting all of their cat fabrics and all their dog fabrics. That is not at all what the person asked for.
No.
There's a lot of those. Or people are like, hey, do you have this? And somebody would be like, no, but I have this. And like 20 people do that. And they're like, that's not what I asked for.
No,
there's one woman who's like responding to almost everyone's post, whether she has what they're asking for or not. She's having a Mother's Day sale on masks. Whatever that means.
I don't like that.
Yeah, Mother's Day sale. And I noticed it because she had posted this morning and I saw like her name in the picture and I was like, oh, she's posted on like 800 people's like comments. Let's see. Someone asked today for a Jeff Dunham mask. I don't know what the hell that means.
What? Well, maybe it's like one of his puppets.
Maybe they was not specific. Like it just said, "Hey, looking for a Jeff Dunham mask," and then somebody said, "Sending you a PM," and I'm like, I know you do not have fabric that says Jeff Dunham on it.
They're gonna hand embroider something.
Yeah, there's a lot of that going around. Somebody else today asked if anyone had any electrical or lineman masks. And I don't know what that means, because if you're an electrician, can you not just, like, wear any, like, kind? Like, does it have to have little electricians on it? I don't, like, what?
It does.
What does that mean?
It says electrician on it. Yeah.
Somebody posted their fabric restock today, and they had, side-by-side, Republican fabric and Democrat fabric. So, like, it said Republican or Democrat on it. It had the donkey and the elephant and, like, all these sayings on it. Like, that was a real yard of fabric that someone made.
Yeah.
And then, like, my favorite is when you make an announcement that you're selling masks for, you know, $5, $6, $7. Something that is very cheap for a handmade item because, like, 90% of people are trying to not be assholes in this climate. And, you know, if, like, can sell them to recoup costs doing it, but also donating and, you know, giving and doing a lot of other things. Most people are doing a combination of both.
Yeah.
And then someone being like, cool, does it include, like, an ear saver? And do you have a nose wire? And does that come with a filter pocket? And can you throw in a few filters, too? And I'm just like, no.
No, it's way too cheap an item for that. Guys.
It's not. It's literally 2 pieces of cotton so that you don't sneeze on someone and give them the Rona when you go to the grocery store.
Yeah, it's not.
That's what it's for.
It's a really simple thing.
So that's it. That's, I could go on, but, like, you know, no one needs that. That's not.
Everyone I know that is
not benefiting
masks is making, like, hundreds of masks as well, and it's
like, and
it's like consuming their lives.
Yeah.
They're
like in the groups. People talk about how they make them for like 12 hours a day.
Yeah.
And I was like, whew. I mean, I'm still working 2 jobs. I can't do that, but I'm making a lot of them.
Well, my friend who is the volunteer coordinator for a huge hospice in Ohio, they needed 4,000 masks.
Wow.
And he said he just picked up, like, they had to basically get some of their volunteers that were not able to go to visit families and patients and that kind of thing were able to make the masks too. And that kind of, like, you know, they were trying to figure out how do we get this many done.
Yeah.
Basically. And I was like, wow. And he said, I picked up the ones for, like, my center today, and they were all, like, bubbles, and it was very cute.
Aw, cute.
I was like, well, that's cute, but, you know, because, you know, it's like hospice, it's pretty bleak.
Yeah.
So you want something at least, you know, either plain or nice, but, yeah, there's a lot. I have plenty. You've made me, like, 5 for just me. And my friend sent me one. So I actually just, I traded them out so I can, like, wash them and that kind of thing.
Yeah. I should probably have more than one. I don't know.
You don't even wear them. We just decided. You do. She does. I do.
I just don't wear them on my porch.
No, that's fine. It seems like people don't. Like, in my neighborhood, I'm the only one that doesn't. Yeah. There are a couple times where I, like, when I'm just walking Franca, like, my dog, just, like, down a block or something like that, because she's old. She doesn't walk that far most of the time. I'm not wearing a mask, but if I go completely around the neighborhood, I will. And I am definitely the only one who wears a mask. And if I'm not wearing the mask, I, like, kind of feel weird.
Yeah. Like, I don't wear
like,
it
I won't. What?
Do what? No, sorry.
I was gonna say, I won't walk if I don't have the mask on. If you do, what were you gonna say?
Oh, yeah, like, I don't wear it on the porch, and if I go, I don't wear it every time I throw the garbage away, but I do sometimes. But if I'm going to the mailbox, which is maybe 50 feet from the garbage receptacles, then I put it on.
Oh, funny, yeah.
It's just because I'm more likely to encounter a person going to the mailboxes than just, like, straight across to the garbage.
Yeah. And I'm not so worried about me. I don't want to be a carrier to give it to other people.
Yeah, that's my big thing.
Is really the thing.
I mean, I'd like to not get it, but I'm more concerned about giving it to others.
Yeah, that's my thing. So there we go.
Yeah. Speaking of the Rona and quarantine,
I was about to say that.
Have you been reading or watching in quarantine?
You're so smarties.
Thanks.
So I've been reading a lot because I enjoy it.
It's fun.
But what have I done? I did also watch Agent Carter, didn't I? Did I talk about that before?
Yeah, you did. I don't think you talked about it before. You told me. I don't think you talked about it on the podcast.
Oh, yeah. Definitely told you. I love Peggy Carter. And, geez, I don't know. Maybe I did tell the podcast. I can't remember. But I love Peggy Carter and from watching all the Marvel movies. And then we were playing a game where I went on missions with her. And so I was like, man, I'm going to revisit. I'd seen, like, the first season, I think. of Agent Carter, but I think a lot of other stuff was going on in my life. Like I think I was getting ready for like to apply for grad school or something or whatever. I don't remember. Something was happening and things were less available on like Hulu or I was less into streaming at the time too. So like it was hard to like get my hands on things. It seemed too. I was just less adept, unfortunately. So I couldn't support it as much as I wanted to, and they got canceled and all that kind of stuff. But so it's on Disney Plus. And so I have been watching. It is bananas. It's very like in some ways it's kind of X-Files.
Yes.
And other ways. So some ways it's kind of X-Files. Some ways it's kind of, I don't know. I really enjoyed the first season where they are in New York and it's in the 40s and it's just amazing. And then now she's in LA. Almost inexplicably, I think they just wanted to be in LA. But it was funny because, like, in the first episode, they are at Echo Park at the lake where I was like my second day of LA, and I was like so scared and like I don't have anywhere to live, and I was gonna meet up with a guy to like maybe sublet his place for a few months, and I was like homeless and scared, whatever. So it hit me that I was like on that bench, and it was like on location. So that was fun. Been watching Agent Carter, and then, excuse me, I'm going to shout out. I've been rewatching The Mandalorian, also on Disney Plus.
Baby Yoda.
Oh God! But like, also, I love Mando. I won't say his name. I mean, his real name because that's like kind of spoilers. I don't know. Whatever. But jeez, I just love that show. It's so well written. The characters are great. Yeah, Baby Yoda is pretty amazing. Everyone knows this. I'm not telling you anything you don't know. He's pretty great. But I do also love the actual Mandalorian Mando. That's what they all call him, which is hilarious to me. I'm like, he's just a Mandalorian, or he's because it's the title. And then through the fun of Hoopla that we've mentioned before. Oh, wait, hold on. Also because you gave me your Kindle Fire.
Yes.
Was that loud? Oh no, my dog is coming in.
Oh,
no, she's not. Oh no, she's not strong. She's too tiny. She's too tiny to push the door open all the way.
Buddy.
I know. Well, because it'll make it so that we would potentially hear people outside of my bedroom. But I think it's okay. You gave me your Kindle Fire. And at first I was like, oh, sure. Like, Leslie gives me things, so, like, I'll take it. I didn't realize how cool it was going to be. I was like, maybe I'll watch stuff, whatever, a tablet, that's cool. I didn't consider what a game changer it would be to have a color big screen to read e-comic books. That has been, like, crazy. Like, I had Kindle on my phone in order to read e-comic books, but I don't like reading on my phone.
I don't either.
I do not like reading on my phone. I mean, I think there've been a couple of times where, like, in a pinch, I have been like, oh, here's the Kindle app. Let me, like, read some things I have on there. But no, I don't like it. I really like reading on the Kindle White that you and our friends gave me for my birthday 5 years ago. That's, like, my favorite thing to read on, apart from, like, a book. But I actually really prefer my Kindle to books because it's just easier to hold it. It's tiny. It's like light. It's pleasant. And then because I have little tiny elf-like hands, and I've never been able to hold a book very well. It's true. But then so the paper. I'm still using my Paperwhite, but the Fire has been like bananas to read comics.
Yeah.
I'm loving it. Bananas. So the Fire plus like Hoopla, I got through. Like, there's one day where like 2 or 3 like comic books. So that was really fun. And they're ones that we've mentioned before, Giant Days. But you know what? I'll give them a shout out because
they're so good.
They're so good. I'm almost caught up. And then I really liked Ghosted in LA. Mm-hmm. I got into it and I was like, man, I almost stayed up to read it. It was really good. Also because it's like, I think she's going to UCLA. And so like she's just talking about parts of town I know and like that kind of thing, and it's just, I don't know, it's not too LA-ish, but I like it. And I love ghost stuff and that kind of thing. So I think that's all I've been doing. It doesn't seem like I've been doing too much. What have you been doing at the DMV with Charlene?
I have also been reading a lot of comics. Not much
Mhm.
else reading except for a few audiobooks. I'm trying to catch up on some podcasts. The read, obviously, always.
Uh-huh.
It comes out on Tuesdays now. I save it for the weekend.
Oh.
And
Oh,
also,
wow. You used to save it for work. That's funny.
no,
But
I
now-
listen
but
to it
now
when I
work
can like
isn't really-
enjoy it.
Oh, yeah. Okay, got it. Okay.
And also there's one called Is the Mic Still On? Which is fun.
I don't know
It's
this
another.
one.
It's just like sometimes it's 4 friends, sometimes it's 5. It's just a bunch of people just kind of like shooting the shit, talking about different stuff, like in the media and in entertainment and like just all kinds of stuff. And it's really interesting now that they're all in quarantine because they don't go to the studio. So it's like, I don't know, you get more of like an insight into their lives too, because they're doing it from home.
Okay.
And I also read Ghost in LA and really enjoyed it. Volume 1. Waiting on Volume 2. I also read Volume 1 is Something is Killing the Children, which is a horror
I
comic.
saw that. Yeah.
Yeah, and it's about
Can't do it.
a badass lady monster killer who, like, they're real monsters in the woods, and she kills them, and that's what she does.
Oh, wow.
Also, Ice Cream Man, Volume 3. I'm not sure we talked about this before. It's like the Twilight Zone if Rod Serling were a demon.
Oh, wow.
So it's like little episodic things, but there are things that kind of, at least within each volume, that like flow through the overarching story. So it's like all of these little episodic things, but then the Ice Cream Man is always kind of like at the center of it, and he serves almost as narrator and also like adversary and like bad guy and scary monster in your closet. Like he's all of those things kind of wrapped up into one. I really liked the first 2. 3 kind of introduced another like storyline that is biographical but also doesn't make a lot of sense. So I really hope Volume 4 kind of ties it all together, but we'll see. And also Punk's Not Dead Volume 1, which is a comic about the ghost of Sid Vicious.
What?
And his soul or spirit or whatever you want to call it is stuck at Heathrow. And somehow this kid who's like passing through can see him. And so he gets, like, now his spirit or ghost or whatever is attached to this kid, and they can't be with it. Like, they can't go further than, like, 10 or 15 feet from each other. So the ghost of Sid Vicious is following this kid around and, like, trying to make him cooler and tougher and all this other stuff. Meanwhile, there's, like, a ghost hunter or, like, paranormal expert who has, like, detected a disturbance in the force. And so she's got her own thing going on. I haven't finished Volume 1 yet, so I don't really know how those 2 storylines are going to intersect, but it's fun. And finally, Wild Nights with Emily is on all of the streaming platforms now.
Whoa,
You can rent it on all the major streaming platforms. I have been waiting for this movie at least a year. I would say probably a year and a half. It did a very limited theater run. It's super indie. So, like, I forget how many years after her death it was discovered, like, some letters were discovered between Emily Dickinson and her sister-in-law that, like, suggested that they had a closer relationship than most people were led to believe. And then I think sometime in the last century, they used technology to, like, go through those letters, and they discovered that the name, like her sister-in-law's name, had actually been erased from the letters. So these letters really were towards her, and they probably had a romantic relationship. Because I thought it was just fictionalized. I thought it was just like a revisionist fictional account of her life. But no, they actually found the letters. They did use technology to discover that they were written to her sister-in-law and that they were probably in love. And also her niece, so the sister-in-law's daughter, when she became an adult, she wrote a book about their affair that I guess no one ever read.
What is that book called? Do you know?
I will find out. I'm not sure. I'll find out and send it to you. But yeah, so Wild Nights with Emily is like that story. And Molly Shannon plays Emily Dickinson. And it's so, like, there are parts of it that are really...
I think I saw the commercial or something. The trailer at some point.
Yeah, so, like, it's really funny. Like, of course there are parts of it that are not funny. But, like, it's very witty and very tongue-in-cheek and very just, like, deadpan kind of the way they deliver stuff. But then it just was, like, making me laugh out loud. So yeah, it's you can rent it on streaming things, and that's it. Those are all the
Wow,
things.
that's pretty exciting.
Yeah,
A good plethora of different types of media has been
right.
keeping you
all
occupied
of
in the
the media.
D&B. Yeah, all of it. Oh man. Should we talk about what we actually watched this week?
Yeah, what did we watch
Okay.
this week? Speaking of things
So,
we did in quarantine.
wow. Speaking of things we did in quarantine, exactly. So man, we're almost done with season 6.
With season 6.
Go ahead, everyone, hold on because I know most people hate season 7.
Yeah,
So-
Russell and I were talking about it the other day, and he was like, BJ or Allison, and I was like, fuck, I forgot Allison's not in season 7.
Yeah, she's not. Yeah. So, whatever. So we watched season 6, episode 20. I Enjoy Being a Girl. Oh, I got excited. I thought it said May 9th. Nope. I was like, whoa, we're so close. We're not. So it first aired March 9th, 1992. And TV Guide reads, on a Girl Scout outing, Carlene's leader. It's too close to those Charlene and Carlene. It's too much. I know we talked about this before, but before she even showed up. On a Girl Scout outing, Carlene's leadership abilities take a beating, while Allison's methods seem to charm the spoiled troopers. Oh my God, they talked about the Tiffanys. There's the Tiffanys were played by Brandy Chrisman and Shay Astar. So there we go. Leslie, what did we watch this week?
We watched True Beverly Hills this week. I'm just kidding.
No, but that's
what I thought
has
of
to be what they were trying to invoke. I'm gonna look up right now when that came out, because that was one of my favorite movies growing up so much. I need to rewatch it right now.
So we start as usual. Allison is running late. She had her new group this morning. And Anthony makes a joke, what's the matter? Your therapist can't talk to you one-on-one anymore? She says,
Jeez.
No, I have moved beyond therapy. I've joined a new support group called Common Sense. And it has a fascinating do it now philosophy. Like, basically they call each other out on their destructive behavior. And she says, for example, if I'm being obnoxious, someone will just say, stop it. And Julia says, oh, how nice for you, Allison. And nice for us. And Allison says, well, we also praise each other on constructive behavior. For instance, if I toss out one of my bomos like I do in the sassy way that I have, someone will say, you're right, Allison, which is more than I can say around here, where Allison bashing is the preferred way to pass the day.
It is.
It is. And she says, you all can make better use of your time. Sometimes I think I agree with that Japanese official who says American workers are lazy and unproductive. Oof. And Mary Jo holds up her hand and says, stop it. Very, quietly and relaxed. And Allison says, all right, you're not technically a member of the group, but I'll play along. Now you have to say something positive. Mary Jo says, about you? And she says, yeah. Yes, I come in here every morning brimming over with suggestions, and no one has ever thought to say, that's good, Allison. You're right, Allison. What an astute businesswoman you are, Allison. Mary Jo says, really? We've never said that? Julia, can you believe that we've never said that? And Julia says, I can't. We're going to have to make a note of that. And then Allison's like, oh, you're just pulling my leg. And Anthony says, that's right, Allison. That's good, Allison. Very astute observation, Allison.
Oh, dear. That was a good one.
Yeah. And then Carlene comes in, and she's super excited. And she says, you're never going to believe what happened today. And Allison says, don't tell us. You found another rat hole apartment down in Flagtown. She's so mean.
That is too much.
That's a lot. And Carlene says, I know I have a tendency to get a little more excited about these things than y'all do. But then she starts telling the story about how her government professor was talking about this program of George Bush's that's not very popular. And actually, if you really think about it, it's not really a program at all. It's just more of a notion. And Julia interrupts her and she's like, Carlene, I think you're losing your train of thought. And she says, yeah, I agree. I don't know why I do that. Like, I've done it all my life. And then she starts to tell this story about her dad when she was little. And then they're like, you're doing it again. Yeah. And she's like, okay. So, this is a really big moment for me. Like, do y'all ever wish that you had a musical score playing in the background during big moments of your lives? I would love to have the 2001 theme playing in the background. And then she starts to hum it. And they're like, all right, get to the point. And so she pulls out a scarf and ties it around her neck. And then she pulls out a hat and she announces that she's going to be a Girl Scout troop leader. She's so excited. She's like, got a uniform. We're going to have meetings and campfires and all of that. And Anthony points out like that's a really big responsibility and asks if anyone is helping her. And she says, no. Oh, sorry. I was trying not to. I didn't have a nap today. And she says, no, sorry. And I hear it's a lively troop. Apparently it's a bunch of like very affluent student kids. And the woman who was supposed to be their troop leader said she would rather be dragged naked across a bed of hot nails than to ever be left alone with them. That's a statement. That's an image.
That's awful.
And Anthony's like, so you just jumped right in there being the big softy that you are. And she's like, I have to. They'll dissolve the group if I don't help. And then Mary Jo and Julia both talk about how they were Girl Scouts. And Carlene said she bought a bunch of colored paper and she's going to teach them how to make origami birds. And she's like, oh yeah, and by the way, they're coming over today. I hope you don't mind, Julia. And Julia's like, what?
That is what? Excuse me.
Excuse
no,
you?
thank you.
No.
Excuse me.
Excuse me. And she says, how old are they? And Carlene says they're 9. And Julia says, okay, so let me get this straight. A group of girls whose scout leader would rather endure physical pain than to be with them is coming over here today. And
Yeah.
Carlene's like, yeah, want to be fun? And then we
Jeez.
cut to, like the comedic outro for like, commercials or whatever. We come back and they've had the meeting. So we have not yet met the girls yet. The meeting is
That's
over.
funny to me. They're like, we're not even going to show this. I
Nope.
thought at this point that they were like not going to actually have
Me
kids
too.
for some reason.
Yeah. Like it was just going to be them after every meeting.
Yeah.
And so everyone's exhausted and Julia says, oh no.
Nope.
Here we
Speaking
go
of,
again. Whew, speaking of, I did not have a nap. Okay. She says, I may be an old fogey, but should I be alarmed that one of those girls... No, this is Anthony, not Julia. I'm sorry. This is what makes it funny. I gift this.
Oh.
He says, I may be an old fogey, but should I be alarmed that one of those little girls got in my face and started to sing, I'm too sexy for my hat, too sexy for my hat. I mean, what is that? Some little Dr. Seuss new little girl thing?
No, my
Definitely
God.
not Dr. Seuss.
No.
Mary Jo says, I also gift this. And what is a jam and how do you pump it up?
That made me so happy.
It's
Oh my gosh.
amazing.
That's a thing from the Space Jam episode of How This Get Made, where June is just like, what is a jam?
I love that so much.
What is a jam?
What is a jam? Logan is now listening to How Did This Get Made, and he started a text chain to me and Godfrey, this other guy that we know, and he's like, I'm just starting this text chain now so that when stuff happens and How Did This Get Made, I can immediately text the both of you.
Oh my God, great.
It's amazing. And Anthony says, Mary Jo, you were once a little girl. You explain this. And Allison's like, get with it, you two. It's on MTV. Like, she knows what MTV really is.
The way she says, get with it, kills me.
She's so hip. So cool.
Yeah.
And Mary Jo's like, I didn't think you ever watched anything but PBS. And Allison says, I don't have to watch it to be aware. Pump up the jam means turn up the volume in like the most white girl voice I have ever heard. It's a prevalent term in hip hop culture. And then of course she looks to Anthony and says, Anthony, you're black, am I right? Anthony says, I have no idea.
It sounds like she's saying, am I right? You're black.
Am I right that you're black? Like that's what
Am
it
I
sounds
right?
like. Am I right? Am I seeing right?
Yeah.
And Allison says, I am right. If this is another example of, and this is another example of not one of you validating my rightness, would anybody care to try it? You're right, Allison.
No.
Silence.
No.
And she's like, okay, you'll have plenty of other opportunities. And then Mary Jo says, these girls are way beyond hip. Like, one of these girls asked if I had a boyfriend, and if I did, what kind of car did he drive, and did we sleep together? And I said, eat your cookie, dear. And Anthony said that he had the privilege of meeting one Tiffany, whose best friend was also Tiffany, and they proceeded to diss this other girl named Tiffany, who I did not have the pleasure to meet. But I did learn that this other girl, Sierra, is like really cool, man.
I feel like if I had a best friend named Aaron, we would shit on a third Aaron.
You'd have to, right? Like, isn't that
We're
like
what about
a
that
rule?
Aaron? No, that
Fuck
we don't
that
like
Aaron.
that Aaron.
We don't like her.
Ridiculous.
And then Julia says, Mary Jo and Anthony, I can't believe you are going on about 9-year-old little girls. This reminds me of Dance Moms. So, okay, if y'all don't know, the other thing I've been doing in quarantine is binging again, because I have binged it once before about 5 or 6 years ago, Dance Moms. And Abby is always talking about how the Dance Moms are jealous of Maddie, who's like 9 or 10. Or 11. Like, they grow every year. There's like 8 seasons. But they're always talking about how they're jealous of little 9-year-old girls. Sorry, that was an aside.
Yeah.
Julia says, they are children after all, and every child has a special light in them, and they just need someone to flip it on. And I think Carlene is just a special person to do it. Aww. And Carlene's like, I don't know. These 90s kids, they know all about sex and rock stars dancing in their underwear on top of smashed cars. Like, that was really specific.
Yeah.
She says, I don't think I can teach them
probably
diddling.
Madonna.
Yeah, that makes sense. She says, I quit. And Mary Jo says, you can't quit. And Carlene's like, why not? I never quit in anything in my whole life except my marriage to Dwayne Dauber. That turned out pretty good, so I'm willing to quit trying this thing too. And Julia says, yeah, but if you quit, you'll still be teaching them, but then you'll be teaching them that good, kind women quit when they're challenged. And Carlene points out that it's just too much. Like, she can't do it by herself. And then she says that they like you, Mary Jo. I saw Tiffany #1 looking at you with admiration in her eyes. And Mary Jo says, no. She was admiring this bracelet. She asked me how much it cost. I told her that wasn't polite, and then she offered me cash.
Oh my god.
Wow. And Carlene's like, well, then I guess I'll just end up like those little puppies people keep taking back to the pound.
Oh, jeez.
Can't you just see it? Those little faces, that little paw comes up wanting to shake your hand. Mary's like, okay, I'll help. Mm-hmm. And Anthony says, you know, Carlene, you play innocent, but you're crafty. You know, that last thing just almost got me. And Carlene asks if that means he'll help too. And he says, no way, I don't want anything to do with those little girls, but I do think I'll stop by the pound on my way home.
Yeah, that's the right answer.
That's cute. That is the right answer. Julia does offer to help as well. And then Allison joins in and says that she will help on a consulting basis. No one asked her.
That's so strange. That's so strange.
And Mary Jo suggests that they should do something fun and scouty. And Colleen's like, ooh, like a camping trip. And they're like, yeah. And Anthony says, aren't you worried these little girls will return to the wolves who obviously raised them if you take them on a camping trip?
That's too much.
And Mary Jo says she thinks it'll build character, and Julia agrees. And Carlene says she's just sorry that Anthony won't be going. And he says, that's okay. While y'all are breakfasting with Tiffany, I'll provide you with a little background music for your adventure. And then he starts humming taps.
Yeah, it took me a minute. I was like, that's taps.
Yeah.
Right? I don't know why it didn't quite get me for us. I don't know why.
He's like playing the imaginary like trumpet.
Which is what they play when you're dead,
when
right?
You die.
Isn't that?
Yep.
When you die?
That's what they play at like a military funeral.
Yeah. Oh, me.
And then we cut to later. They're on the camping trip. They have used the set before for like all the cabins and stuff. Mm-hmm. And they come in and it's like a wreck. And they're like, what? Like all the boys' cabins are so much nicer or whatever. And this one's just junk. And
I'd like to ask if we have any listeners that are currently in Girl Scouts as like a troop. I would assume troop leader. Not well. We could have some younger listeners, but I would like to have feedback about this because I have a friend who was in the Girl Scouts. I have a couple of friends that were like, I consider them very resourceful and like they seem like what I think of a Girl Scout. But then my friend that has 2 daughters herself, she was looking at one was being about the age to like start brownies, and then she was like, but it seems like they really don't teach them like life skills the same way as like the Boy Scouts get to learn. And so I thought like she was kind of like disappointed because she wasn't in the Girl Scouts when she was growing up, so she wanted to be able to put her girls in it. Mm-hmm. She has 2 daughters, and then I was like thinking of her when this show came on. I was like, I mean, I wanted to know like if it is really. I would assume that your experience in Girl Scouts is based on your troop leaders, you know, that you have
would think so,
along the way. But if it's that the troop leaders are kind of fighting a losing battle, is it that they're like really underfunded?
Yeah.
and that kind of thing, it makes me really sad. So yeah, some feedback on that is welcome. Anyway, continue.
So then one of the girls says it's just like the Seven Dwarfs house. Like, they're like, oh, do you want to play Snow White and like fix it all up? And they're like, yeah. And then Carlene says how much she loves Snow White, and Mary Jo says, oh man, we weren't here in time to save them from the brainwashing.
Yeah.
Everyone's like, what do you mean? And then Julia goes on an explanation about sexism in fairy tales and how Snow White was this beautiful princess who finally found happiness by cleaning up after a bunch of grubby little men. Allison says, excuse me, the dwarfs did own a diamond mine. I think that changes the situation a little. Am I right?
Oh my God. Wow.
And Julia's like, nope, not yet. I'll let you know when. And Julia finds this cabin unacceptable, so she's going to go talk to the director of the boys' camp. And Carlene says that it'll be cool, like later they can build a campfire and tell ghost stories and have a sing-along. I even brought my guitar. And then Allison says, how down home of you, Carlene? And Mary Jo's like, oh, I got the Boy Scout handbook, which is chock full of really useful information, like how to make a backpack out of your trousers. And Allison says, why would you want to? And Mary Jo's like, if your backpack fell down a ravine and then you needed one. And Allison says, but wouldn't your trousers be in your backpack? And why would you need a backpack if everything you own just fell down a ravine? I mean, am I right, girls? Am I right? Silence.
Nope.
Never mind.
Nope.
And Allison says, hey, I brought some Lysol and some wipes. Do you want to clean? And they're like, yeah.
Wow. 2020 is like, what decadence?
What?
Do you have
Yeah.
toilet paper too?
Burning $100 bills.
Yeah.
And Mary Jo says, I don't think we should let these little girls spend too much time with Allison. They might catch something, like her personality.
Oh.
And then we cut to Mary Jo showing them how to tie knots and telling them a story, and they're all very bored, and Allison is like yawning and falling asleep, and the girls are paying no attention. Something about a bunny running around a tree and tying a knot, but then when she's done, she's basically tied a noose. Like, not a proper noose, but a noose.
Yeah. Yeah.
Which seems weird. Anyway.
Yeah.
And Allison's like, okay, it's manicure and pedicure time. CEOs always notice well-manicured hands.
Wow, really?
Yeah. And then Mary Jo says, Allison, I didn't think you cared anything about makeup. And she says, I don't, but they do. It's called communicating. It's something you weren't doing with your story. And Carlene says, Mary Jo, I don't mean to be critical, but, that knot tying story didn't go so well. And then Julia comes in, and she's had a conversation with the director of the boys' camp. And his solution was, maybe you ought to go home.
Mm-hmm.
And she said, I told him we had every much as right as the boys to camp, but we do require adequate facilities. And Carlene's like, what did he say? And Julia says, maybe you ought to go home.
Mm-hmm.
Then he stretched out in his outdoors Barco lounger and went back to flipping the channels on his big screen TV, whereupon I inadvertently reached down and yanked out his coaxial cable. Mary Jo says, what did he say? And Julia said, he said, that was the big game. What do you expect me to do now? And I said, maybe you ought to go home.
That was a good one.
She points out that the Boys and Girl Scouts are not equal, which you mentioned before. And that they don't receive the same funds because men donate to boys' organizations, and those boys grow up to be men who then donate to boys, and so on and so on. Mm-hmm. Carlene says, it's like that shampoo commercial. Then she told two friends, and she told two friends, and she told two friends, and so on. She just keeps going, and Julie's like, train of thought, Carlene. No. She says, I guess I don't have any train of thought at all. Only this camping isn't as going as well as I thought. I guess my leadership skills haven't kicked in yet. And Mary Jo points out that Allison is their new best friend, and she says, I think she offered them money. She's like, well, I tell you, I'm not going to let her win them over. And Julia asks when this became a competition, and Mary Jo says, since right now, anybody who wants to stay here and paint their toenails can, but anybody who wants to come with me and learn how to build a big old campfire and sleep out under the stars, well, y'all can come with me. And then we immediately cut to just Julia and Mary Jo freezing their asses off beside a very tiny campfire, and everyone else is still inside.
I should have known that was going to happen, but I did not. I was still like, oh, I was surprised.
And Julia asks, what they're doing this for, and Mary Jo explains they're trying to send the little girls a message. And Julia's like, well, when they find our cold, stiff, frozen corpses, they're going to get a message, all right? It's going to say we're stupid.
Mm-hmm.
Mary Jo's like, we can't go back in there now and admit that this is awful. We can't take it. We're supposed to teach them if they could do anything boys can do. And then Julia says, it seems like the little girls are more interested in painting their nails and doing their hair and twirling in little dresses. And Mary Jo says, boys and girls are just different. I don't like this statement. Boys are gonna kick dogs. No boy should kick a dog. No one kick a dog. Nope. Don't let your children kick dogs.
Nope.
No.
Nope.
And little girls are gonna dress them up in baby dog clothes, which is both torture for the dogs, but they're just different types of torture. Nobody kick a dog, damn it. Sorry. And Julia says, I remember I gave Payne my little doll named Pearl when he was little. Before I knew it, he'd yank back to her head and cocked up her leg. Old Pearl had become a porcelain gun. That seems strange.
Yeah, it is, actually.
And Mary Jo says, yeah, I know. Quint could make a weapon out of toast. And she says, when did we decide that there was something wrong with liking dresses that twirl? And Mary Jo says, I don't know. Like, we didn't, did we? I personally still like a twirly dress every now and then myself. It's just that I don't want to twirl because I'm a girl and that's what I'm supposed to do. I want the choice to twirl and the right not to.
Yes. And
Julia says, I think you're absolutely right, Mary Jo. And you know what? I'm choosing to twirl my half-frozen body back into that cabin. Are you coming with me? And then they go back in, and Carlene has all these kids in rapture telling the story. It's not a horror story or like a campfire ghost story, but how Oprah and all of the other daytime talk show hosts inspired her to leave her husband. In fact, she wrote a song about it, and this song has got a lot of meaning for her. And then she starts to sing it, but the most important part of the song says, if you want respect, you've got to give it to yourself. And all the girls are excited about that. Me too. And then she notices Mary Jo and Julia, and Allison says, oh, look who's back. It's Grizzly Adams and Jeremiah Johnson. And then Julia asks what Allison was doing over there by herself. And Allison says they froze her out of the troop. All they wanted was to hear boyfriend stories and talk about sex. And let's face it, they know more than I do.
They're 9 years old.
They're 9.
Come on.
And Mary Jo says, look at them. They're just little girls. It reminds me of my favorite little girl memory, which was the day I joined the Brownies. And I was so excited because being a Brownie meant I got to be nice and helpful. And it made me so proud because I wanted to be nice and helpful. And Julia's like, do you see yourself, looking, like while she's looking at the little girls? And Mary Jo says, I do. And Allison says, this is where I think you feminists are so screwed up.
Oh, dear.
Instead of trying to be as good as men, you should just try to be as good as women. And Julia, without thinking, says, you're right, Allison. And then she has this horrified face, like, what did I just say? And Allison says, excuse me? I'm right?
Yeah.
And Mary Jo says, yeah, well, in a way you are. And Allison says, that's the first time you said I was right about anything. And I am. Good as women. It's almost profound. Mary Jo, say it for me again. Mary's like, you made one tiny point. Allison said, and it's killing you, isn't it? I was right. I love it. And then the credits roll. And that's it.
And that's it. Jeez. Yeah. It was, oh, by the way, True Beverly Hills was out in 1989. Okay. So this is definitely, kind of invoking some of that in theory, but not very much.
Right.
Did you have a favorite outfit?
I did. Mine was Julia's dress in the first scene. It's it's like, I think it's either navy or black. It's kind of hard to tell with this light. But it's got stripes going down just like the lapel of one side, but it goes like all the way down and around the dress. So where the V is for the opening, like one side is just normal dress and the other side is like pink and yellow and green, and that kind of goes down and wraps around like the bottom of the dress. And it's cool because it's classy, but also it has like that little bit of color that runs throughout it to just add a little more.
She's really good at that.
Yeah. How about you?
Like having some... I didn't have one.
No.
I didn't. For some reason, I didn't save one, and so we'll just say it.
That's fine.
Because I was like, I don't know why. But I did notice that definitely Mary Jo's pregnant.
Oh,
she's wearing a giant jacket at the cabin, and then like she was wearing something on the couch in the beginning that like, was funny because it's kind of in the style that she already wore,
but it was bigger,
but like definitely bigger and covering
her.
up. And I was like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
So I did notice that about the outfits, which I just love noticing that. I don't know why. It makes me feel like I'm smart, like they're trying to get away with it, and I know it.
But they did.
But she's pregnant. They did it. I saw. Ridiculous. I guess that's our episode, huh?
Yep. I guess that's it.
All right, everyone, stay safe, stay healthy, be well,
wear a mask
all
in
that
public,
kind of stuff.
stay home when you can.
Wear a mask in public, all the things. I guess we will talk to you next time.
Yep, we'll see you next time.
Right?
Yep.
Oh, Leslie, hold on. Where can people find us?
Okay.
Forgot.
I can say
So
that.
I'm forgetting something. Yeah.
We are the Girls Who Came to Sugar Bakers on that thing, iTunes, and our official site, Podbean. We are Sugar Baker Girls pretty much everywhere else, including Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Tumblr, YouTube, Pinterest. If you like us, please take a moment to rate and review on iTunes or wherever you listen to podcasts. It helps us reach more listeners, and we appreciate you listening.
We do. Thank you so much, everyone.
Thanks,
and
y'all.
we, again, will
see you next time.
Next time. Bye.
My body, my body, my body, my body.
I was like, shut up.
Can I be a dick for a second? Do you mind if I go get this package off of my porch that wasn't supposed to be delivered
I would love for you to. Go
Thank
get
you.
it. I'm
I'll
just
be
going
right
to sit and
back.
talk to Sunny.
Here you go, son. Take a headphone.
Take a headphone.